Okay, I think I can't see anything anymore. I'm hoping you can see this. It's a bit tricky, isn't it? Because I haven't got any messages back. But so welcome to Miromations, part of the Festival of Emergence 2021. So very simply for context, I don't know about you, but I'm living in a space and a time in which I've been missing greatly all of my friends, all of my streets, all of my strangers, all the people that I've gotten used to around me as being a human. And of course, they were wickedly taken away by the pandemic. However, during the year, I did find evidence of social interaction and almost social navigation, an idea that people are watching each other to get certain things done. And this social navigation, the movement of cursors according to other people's cursors, was something that reminded me, of course, or maybe I saw the connection, to the murmurations that we see, the beautiful murmurations we see across landscapes, which are countless, and I like the word countless in the context of data, countless starlings, which are preparing themselves for a long journey, probably from the UK, that's where I see them, toward Africa, to warmer climes. And it'll probably be about this time of year when we'll start see them. So from one Miromation, start heading out over the next few weeks and looking for your Murmurations. Now, when I began thinking about this, I couldn't help thinking about Boids, and Craig Reynolds wrote about Boids and wrote the code for Boids and uses 3 simple pieces of code, which I'll want you to do your best to replicate later, as though you're following the logic of a machine. Perhaps you're beginning to co-create as though you are a machine. One is separation, the need to steer to avoid crowding local flockmates. So when you get into the Miro, stay away from people. To align yourself toward the average heading of local flockmates. So if they're heading in a direction, you head in that direction as well. But then there's a cohesion, which is to steer toward the average position. In other words, that's about coming together and steering, but separating. Interestingly, it was picked up in code and then into cinema. So you might remember Batman Returns, when actually the bats were modeled, not by animators, human animators, but by code, and that entirely based on some of that Boyd work. And that also took me to Lauren Carpenter. And I'll play this little clip from All Watched Over by Machines of Loving Grace.
Each half of the audience jointly controlled the bat on their side of the screen. If an individual held up red on their paddle, a computer sensor picked it up, and the bat on the screen went down. If they held up green, it went up. But they had to operate it together.
When the game is being played and the ball is going back and forth, if it's down here and it's headed that way, some people are going to have to show red to keep it from going all the way to the top. If everybody just showed green, it would slam up to the top and the ball would miss. So something happened in that group of people where some decided to show green and some decided to show red to cause it to stop in the right place. And we have no idea what did that.
And by the time they get going, they rehearse, you can see they're pretty good at using Pong to navigate, essentially a game. They're probably not competing here, but they're collaborating. So these things, again, entirely motivate me toward how we begin to think about socialization within digital realms. And of course, they take me things such as Churchill. She wrote a great piece and collated a great piece for Interactions in 2018 around the concepts of how we might begin understanding ourselves as collaborating with AI, rather than seeing it as outside of us, rather than ways of automating our activities, but perhaps thinking about how we co-design, we cooperate with them. And to some extent, I'm going to ask you to cooperate with each other, following the rules of code. And then finally, I always like a Barad quote, the idea that in some ways you're always entangled, and I find myself always entangled in these codes and trying to place you within them. So on to the main event though. The plan is I'm going to give you a link in a moment through Zoom to an open Miro board. And beware, it's completely open. It's editable. You can do what you want. You could probably destroy the board, but I'm pleading with you not to. We'll meet there and I'll introduce how Miromation will occur and be recorded. It's very, very simple. But by joining me in the Miro board, you are consenting to take part in the social design performance. And I'm going to record, I'm going to use QuickTime to record the screen as well. So I do want your consent. So in some ways, I'm asking for it now when you take the jump into the Miro space. At the end of the performance, I will invite you to leave your name. You don't have to use your real name. You could use a pseudonym on a little board within the space, on a little sticky, so that I can credit all of you when we document this thing, because it is a co-performance. And finally, it's worth saying that Miro boards can make some people feel uncomfortable or sick. So with so many cursors flying around, looks like we'll have about 26, 25 cursors flying around, it might make you feel uncomfortable. So if you're feeling unwell, just get out. It's no problem whatsoever. We're not, this isn't coursework, folks. So if you need to get out, just quit and close the browser, and very best wishes and apologies if I do upset your equilibrium. It's all a bit of an experiment. I don't think we're going to get the hundreds I'd hoped for, but we'll give it a go, and I'll keep repeating this probably through the year, see if I can build bigger Murmurations. And other than that, there's the link. Now let me just kill the deck. And I'm hoping, whoops-a-daisy, stop sharing. Let's kill that one. Jump back to Zoom. I hope you saw all of that. I have no Scooby-Doo what you saw, because you know what Zoom's like, it obfuscates. Right, there's the Miro board. Let me go to, so jump into the Miro board. Yeah, so you're starting to arrive. Now, in theory, you're aware that if you, next to your little, at the top, next to the little reactions button, you should have the the collaborators cursors blue. If you haven't got it blue, then you can't see everybody else's cursor. So the first thing to give you a clue on is, please go to next to the strange speaker thing, the reaction thing, just to the left, hit that and make sure you can see all of the Starlings, each other in this space. You're also all editors, as I say, so you can edit a whole bunch of things, which terrifies me. So it means I can't actually control where you are at all, your view, but I'll try and start by doing that. What else do I have to? Oh, I have to start my QuickTime app. So I'm just going to do a quick screen record, excuse me, while I just get this going. Come on, Chris, you can do this. Too many screens. And this will allow me, of course, to just do a screen recording, and new screen recording. Here we go. I want some sound as well. Oh no, that's fine. Great stuff. Right. Okay. No, I'm recording the wrong one. Sorry, folks. I knew things like this would happen. Oh no, it did work. Right. Chris, come on, you can do this. Options, record. Right, great. I think that is recording. So let me get back to so. Now I'm going to enter I'm going to try and take you to me. So forgive me for a moment. I'm going to ask you to follow me, and then I'm going to take you on a journey into this. As soon as you click, well, let's think away, you won't be able to follow me, but I'll see how many are following. So of course, this is a Murmuration, and we're going to try Miromation. So we'll have a little go at this. Rules for flocking: try and remain separated from each other if it's possible, so you're avoiding your local flock mates. Alignment: steer toward the average bearing, so the direction, and you'll see an arrow on the direction of the Miromation. And then the cohesion: try and steer toward the average, so we begin to build a little flock between us. And so without further ado, I invite you now to take part in this Miromation. And whenever you're ready, you can see the arrow is traveling this way around. So make a start. And if you wouldn't mind, I'll just give yourself a minute and we'll start getting a little Miromation going. So this is a little flock and we'll fly around here. I'm obviously capturing it on the screen, but there's a moment, don't you think, just about in the arcs when they join together, that we are beginning to be a flock. So as few people are still lost on the big board, you'll find us, because you'll find where the action is. And there we go, we're all together now, beginning to flock together. Again, I can't control what you're seeing or doing, so forgive me if you're zooming in or zooming out. That's gorgeous, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. Right, let's have a go at the next one and move over. So here we go again. And I'm hoping you join me just to the right. Again, I'm probably not able to drag you, as it were, but I wouldn't want to do that anyway, would I? Let's have a crack at this one. So a bit more complicated. So we'll travel around the top, carefully looking for each other. Are you as clever as the algorithm? That might be the question, because the algorithm allows the pixels and the points in a cloud to operate rather easily, looking for each other. In theory, you're object orientated, but you're not necessarily networked in the same way that code is. And of course, you've only got Miro and your eyes to go on, but that's pretty good. I'm quite happy with that one, actually. There's some lovely motion. Are you getting that feeling? Maybe I should have pumped the air of an evening, be it dawn or evening, and you might have felt the sensation of being surrounded by thousands of starlings. But you're a starling this evening, darling. Starling darlings, there's something in there as well. All right, thank you very much indeed. The last one then is, and I'll jump to the right, so follow me to the right, is even more complicated. So good luck with this one. I didn't know where to push it, but this is perhaps where the experiment begins. So look for the start arrow, and we'll see if we can flow around here. My hunch is it's too complicated for a murmuration for this amount of people. That's my hunch. In other words, if I'd had 100, it might have worked. But working with perhaps 25 of us, it's simply not enough people. But there's a moment, isn't there? There's just a moment where you begin to sense if we had more people, it might work. So I'll leave you enjoying this one just for a moment longer, and then we'll call it an evening. Thank you for all your time coming in. I hope it's 17 minutes past, so I tried to keep it as short and sweet as possible. And that's great. I'll leave it at that, really. It's nice just watching you, to be honest. It's a bit like watching Scalextrics with this few people. Thank you very much indeed. That was Miromation. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go and check back if anyone says anything in Zoom, but yeah, we did it. Crikey. Oh dear. It's like live experiments. Don't work with animals, students, and don't work with cursors. Thanks very much, everybody. I'll let you leave the room when you're ready. That's all there is tonight, folks. I'll share some documentation. I forgot. I did say I wanted to be including you. So on the right, just on the Miro board, there's a whole bunch of stickers. If you wouldn't mind, and I don't put your real name, you can be Starling X for all I care. But tell me who took part, because I'd like to credit you on this piece of documentation because we did it together. And yeah, so if you want, you don't have to put your full name, be who you ever want to be, grab a post-it and just put it to the right, and you are filling up the credit screen on this evening's Murmuration. Thank you so much for taking part. I hope you didn't get sick, and have a great whatever the rest of the evening offers to you, or morning. Perhaps you are further away than I expected. I'm going to end the call and see you somewhere in Twitter speaking about this, or perhaps whatever happens in Murmuration space we don't speak of ever again. Thank you, darlings. Bye.